We're on page 307 in my book. Is that what you have?
Mm-hmm.
Maran had said that a woman is kosher to put tzitzit on the corner of the garment. That's what we were talking about right before we left. The Rama says some are strict, and it's better not to do this in an ideal level. So according to Maran, it's okay for a lady to tie the tzitzit on the corner of the clothing. According to Rama, he says that he'd rather not.
The lady themselves having scissors?
No, tying it for their husband, let's say, or at a store. So this is and we said that even Ashkenazim are allowed to make a blessing on tzitzit that were tied by a woman, because the Rama doesn't hold this forbidden, just that it's better to take all opinions into consideration, and it's better not to put yourself in a less than ideal situation, according to Ashkenazi halakha. On page 3, Ashkenazi halakha. Sephardic halakha, no,
doesn't affect.
my wife tied the corner of one of my tzitzit.
We won't tell anybody.
It's now on camera. On page 307, the question that some poskim have is, can we rely on a woman to tell us that she tied the tzitziot on the corner for the sake of the mitzvah of tzitzit? The answer is obviously yes. The Mishnah Berurah says that yes, a woman is believed to say that I tied them for the mitzvah of tzitzit. Now this is an interesting thing. We told you how many knots are required on a biblical level to fulfill the mitzvah of tzitzit. The top 2 knots, meaning the first knot, the double knot, that's the only thing you really need to tie. So what if we do this? What if a man ties the 4 top knots and his wife does the rest? Would the Ramah say that that's okay? Or is that only good for Sfaradim?
It doesn't make a difference, 4 or 5, 6, 7.
No, listen to my question. If I take a talit, Brett, can I have a talit from over there, please? Yeah, right there. Perfect. If I take this talit, and on each corner, I tie the first knot. On each corner. So I fulfilled now the mitzvah. I could wear this now as a 4-corner garment that has tzitzit. The rest of it is just a custom. Is it okay, according to the Ashkenazim, for the man to tie the first knot of each one, and let a lady tie the rest? What do you think?
I think it is okay.
Why yes? Why is it okay?
Because the man started the main knotting.
Because the man already did the main mitzvah.
Right.
Why not?
When he started, he should finish.
Okay, was that enough to say that it's not okay to do it?
No.
No. So what he says here, he says, V'im hitil ha'ish hachutim b'beged. If the man put the strings in the corner, v'karach chulei harishona v'kashar gabei shnei ksharim, and he tied the first knot and then the second knot on top of it to make one double knot, muteret ha'isha l'sayim kshirat haksharim u'kirchat hachuliot l'chol hadeot. According to all the opinions, a lady is allowed to continue tying the rest of the tzitzit.
But there's also opinions that she can do the whole thing herself.
Yeah, our opinion, that's Sfaradim.
That's the most important.
Now you should know. Look here, see the Rashi script on the right side? There's a chet, a little chet. Do you see it?
Mm-hmm.
Ayen le'el, look above, b'Shaar HaTziyun, in the Shaar HaTziyun. The b'chi hay gavna, if you do this, meaning the man ties all 4 corners, the first knot, shari afilu begoy. Even a non-Jew can finish tying the rest of the tzitzit. Kosher can be shas, so how much more so by a woman? You see, where did I learn this halakha from? Everybody agrees that if I tie the first knots, then a non-Jew can tie the rest. A woman is not worse than a non-Jew. Here it's only a chumah the Ramah is bringing out. And so from here we learn that all the opinions would agree that a woman is allowed to tie the rest of the tzitziot. Now for Sfaradim it's not a problem. For Ashkenazim who want to opt in the ideal level of Ashkenazi halakha is to, at least the man should do the first knots.
So commercially, what's done?
I'll tell you, I was once in a talit factory and I saw a woman working there. I don't know what they were doing. I don't know. I mean, I saw them like with the fabrics and what. I'm not sure if they were stitching on the crowns or like I don't know exactly what the job was. My assumption is that in today's world they probably try to have the strictest opinion possible, and I don't know if that's good or bad, but that's probably what it is.
Probably they're doing.
My feeling though is that these kind of tzitziot are probably tied by a machine in the first place. I'm not sure. I can't say because I don't know. I don't know what the halachot of machines tying tzitzit, but I'm sure we're going to get up to it soon. Katan. What about a child? Shelo higia lemitzvot. He didn't reach bar mitzvah. Is he allowed to tie tzitziot on the corner of clothing? What's the question?
Yeah. If the limit is, why not?
Okay, so you're saying for Sfaradim, for sure it's okay. What about for Ashkenazim?
Well, he's not Pater Mitzvah before he's 13, so should he be doing something that is a mitzvah?
Oh, okay, so this is exactly what we're saying. Katan shelo higia lemitzvot. The boy that didn't reach bar mitzvah. Kasher lehatil chutei hatzitzit bebeged hatalit afilu lechatchila. Even in the chatchila, on an ideal level, he can tie the tzitziot. U'leminhag Ashkenazim. According to the custom of the Ashkenazim, hamachmirim lechatchila le'yan isha, that ideally they're strict by a lady. Yesh omrim shehu adin shesh lachmir lechatchila le'yan katan. Some of them say that it's also important to not let a child do this mitzvah. Shelo yatid chutei tzitzit bebeged hatalit. That he should not put the tzitzit on the corner of the clothing. Okay, so that's a logical outcome. V'im higia legil 13. This is your question. When does a boy become bar mitzvah?
In age or in actions? When
Oh, is it dependent on age?
is it when the first hairs show?
Two hairs. He has to have 2 hairs and be 13 in one day. What if he only reaches 13 in one day? But we don't know. Not every boy exactly at 13. So we don't know. We're not sure. So for this reason, in Baltimore, they don't let in the yeshiva. They don't let bar mitzvah boys read the Torah on any of the biblical parashot, like Zachor, because he's a bar mitzvah boy. But we're not sure if biblically he's a bar mitzvah boy. Rabbinically, for sure. Biblically, we're not sure. We don't have a bedin. We don't check it. It's not how it works now. So what if this boy is 13 in a day? So he's bar mitzvah, but we're not sure really if he's biblically bar mitzvah. Can he tie the tzitzit or not? And is there going to be a difference here between Sfaradim and Ashkenazim? V'im higia legil 13 shana v'yom echad. If he reached 13 years in one day, ach en hadavar yedom v'vish tes harot. We don't know if he has 2 hairs. Kasher lechatchila lehatir chutei tzitzit bebeged hatalit. After the minhag Ashkenazim, even according to the Ashkenazim, he's allowed to tie the tzitziot on the corner of the clothing.
People don't check whether they're two guys.
What? We don't check. Now, essentially, Rava says in the Gemara in Masechet Nida, Rava tells us that anyone who reaches 13, we don't check anymore. And we have a chazakah that most people who are 13, they've already brought 2 hairs. The Magen Avraham, who's an Ashkenazi Achron, he says, yeah, that's true, but not about biblical mitzvot. Rabbinic mitzvot, yes. Biblical mitzvot, no. The Rambam, in his book, Pe'er Hador, it's questions and answers, he says no, even by biblical things. We can rely on someone that's 13, that he's also already an adult biblically. So, that seems to be the halakha that we're following here. Now, what about the child who's tying the tzitziot? Is it okay for the child to tie tzitziot on his own, or does he have to have an adult who's reminding him, yeah, you have to do this for tzitzit, for the mitzvah tzitzit?
It would logically make more sense for an adult to be advising because it's a complex operation and maybe beyond the child's comprehension.
Ability. So what if he's able to tie, but what are we always worried? What's the worry about a child? We're not so much worried about his ability to do a mitzvah as much as his ability to understand what he's doing. That's the whole. A child essentially is one who doesn't have dat. I mean, he's smart, but fully comprehending something. And you see this with children, there's some things they just don't get, and that's okay, they're a child, they're not supposed to get it. So, v'af l'dat matirim shakatan yatir chutei tzitzit bebeged hatalit. Even according to those who are lenient, that a child can put tzitzit on the corner of the talit, tzarich she'eh Yisrael gadon, you have to have an adult Jew, omed al gabav, standing over him, umelamdo, and to teach him, she'aseh ken l'shem mitzvah tzitzit. He should teach him, you have to do this, l'shem mitzvah tzitzit. Now this is the opinion of the first Lubavitcher Rebbe and the Mishnah Berurah. This is their. They have to have somebody standing over him to tell them these things. Now let's ask you another question. According to the opinion of those who hold that a child should not put tzitziot on a talit, is he allowed, according to them, to put tzitzit on his own talit? I mean, they say, can't have a child tying a talit for you. You're an adult. You know of kavanah. He doesn't have enough dad. What about by his own talit? Is he able to tie his own talit according to their opinion, or does he only allowed to wear a talit that an adult has tied?
If you're under 13, you don't have to wear a talit.
But he does. I mean, he has
It's
his
not
own
a mitzvah
talit.
for him, so it's...
He's practicing.
He didn't buy
But he's practicing mitzvot, so you can't let him do an avera. I mean, if these tzitzit are not kosher, he's wearing a four-corner garment that's not kosher. Just
So
because he's not
that-
obligated to mitzvot doesn't mean he's
Yeah.
not.
So if below 13, he can't wear a four-corner garment without a tzitzit?
Yeah, of course.
He can't?
Cannot.
Even though he's not obligated to do a
A
mitzvah?
lack of obligation doesn't mean exemption from the consequences. I mean, he might not have a mitzvah to keep kosher, but he's not allowed to eat not kosher. Understand? This is not. It's a difference. So not all mitzvot have that double where in order to not do it, you have to do it. Talit, so he doesn't have to wear tzitzit. You're right. But if he's wearing a four-corner garment, it has to have tzitzit on it. You can't let him walk around with that tzitzit on the four corners.
In a sense, then that mitzvah is independent of the person and the age of the person doing it. So I mean, it's binding in a different
But on a different
status.
level, on a
Yes.
child level. You're right, on a child level. And which is why even though we could count underage boy, under bar mitzvah, as the third in a zimun, he can't lead the zimun. Because he's enough to count as one of three, but he can't say the blessing for me because I'm obligated on a biblical level and he is on a rabbinic level obligated. You should know, the age of getting a talit, not tzitzit, a talit, according to the Mishnah is an old book, on here quoting Shulchan Aruch, is the age when a child is able to say the Aleph Bet. So 6, 7, latest. The Yemenites do this, and I know many Sephardim who do this as well.
Of course.
6 or 7 years old, the boy should be wearing a talit already. There's no excuse not to wear a talit.
Of course, it depends on the literacy of the society. Because
That's also true. So that's why the later age that's given is 9 or 10. But nobody says 13.
I saw a book of photographs of Yemen, and sure enough, young
The
children.
boys are wearing talitot, right?
Yeah.
They're very good. This is how it should be. Now the Ramah says that this is not our custom, but it's in the Mishnah. And the Mishnah Berurah, you should know, the Chavetz Chaim says he doesn't understand why it's not the custom. At the very least, from Bar Mitzvah, it should be the custom. It's incomprehensible that people don't wear a talit at Bar Mitzvah age. No, it's Sfardim or Ashkenazi. It's a mitzvah. It's
What
not-
about 13,000 you they sell talis?
Yeah, but people don't wear them. The religious community doesn't, aside from the German Jews, they don't wear a talit at Bar Mitzvah. So what does it say here? Urashai Katan, page 309. A child shegia lechinuch that has reached this age of 6 or 7 or 9 or 10, but he's not Bar Mitzvah. He's allowed lehatil tzitziot bebeged shel atzmot, to put tzitziot on his own talit. After that, machmirim. Even according to the strict opinion, shelo yitil hakatan tzitziot bebeged, that hold that a child should not put tzitziot on a talit. That's only by someone else's talit, but on his own talit it's okay. Now here's the next question. So this boy is 8 years old. He puts on tzitziot on the corner of his clothing. And he did it. He did it l'shem mitzvah tzitzit. His dad was standing over him and told him, listen, you should do it l'shem mitzvah tzitzit. He now turns bar mitzvah. Can he keep wearing his talit? Or is this talit for only under bar mitzvah kids only?
You can continue.
But this opinion
change
holds
of
that he
status.
can't tie his tzitziot for an adult. Now he became an adult. So essentially these are the same story of a child who tied tzitziot for an adult. He's the adult now.
there's been a change of status of the person. The question is whether there's a change of status of the tzitziot.
what changed? So some would say you'd have to untie them and tie them again.
Some
Let me
do
read
say
you the
that,
answer,
yeah.
and I'll tell you why the answer is the way it is. The answer is that afilu im hitil hatzitziot, if he put the tzitzit babeged into the talit ba'odo katan when he was still a child, v'asaken l'shem mitzvah tzitzit, and he did this for the sake of the mitzvah of tzitzit, ulachar miken, and afterwards gadal v'higia lemitzvot, he grew up and he reached the age of mitzvot, rishai lehamshich lilbosh talit, he's allowed to continue wearing the talit, af ledat machmirim, even according to those who are strict, shelo yatil katan tzitzit babeged, that say that a child cannot put on the tzitzit in the corner of the clothing. Ve'en tzarich la'atir hatzitziot lachzor lekosheran mechadash. You do not have to untie the tzitziot and start over again. The reason, says the Chavetz Chaim, because the whole stricture of a child not tying his tzitziot is based off of a lady not tying tzitziot. The Rama says this applies only for an ideal scenario. In a b'di'avad scenario, the Rama holds that a woman can tie tzitzit, correct?
Right.
And therefore he holds that in a second case scenario, a child can also tie tzitziot. It's just preferable not to. Says the Chavetz Chaim, this situation is already a non-ideal situation, meaning there is no choice now to have an adult tie the tzitzit. So this is a b'di'avad situation, and of course it's okay, according to everybody. I mean, this situation is the classic definition of b'di'avad, and that's why a child's allowed to do it. Here's a great question. Can a blind person tie tzitzit? Well, I'll ask you a better question. Is a blind person even obligated in tzitzit? Why or why not?
I would say yes, he is, but in the morning.
Tell me why not. Why you would think not.
Well, in the morning the morning davening, you have the Oreo.
Who opens up my eyes? Pokach Ivrim.
Or, you shall look upon it, or.
Oh yeah, Uri Temoto, very good.
Yeah.
In Shema, you have an obligation. You have to see your tzitziot. This man cannot see his tzitziot.
That's very good. That's sharp.
But
That's
it
good.
doesn't dismiss him from, if he has a four-corner garment, he still has to have tzitziot on it.
Right, but is he
That's
okay?
a
Well, let's
different-
hear.
that's a different
I mean, he
status
can't
of
go
mitzvah.
against a commandment.
Look on page 357 with me. Maran says here, this is a chapter 17, who is obligated to wear tzitzit? Not who can tie tzitzit, who has to wear them. Afal gav dichtiv, says Maran, even though it says in this book of Bamidbar, Uri temoto, in our Shema, it says you must see the tzitzit. Suma chayav b'tzitzit. A blind person is still obligated in the mitzvah of tzitzit. Suma is Aramaic for a blind person. Iver is Hebrew for a blind person. Suma is Aramaic. Mipnei shenitraba ma'asher techasebo, because he's included in a different category. I'll explain. Ukra deveritem oto itzrich lema'et ksut leila. There's two places in the Torah where it says that you have to wear tzitzit. You should tie tzitziot on the corner of your garment, and you should see them. That's one verse. That's from Bamidbar. In Dvarim it says, you shall make fringes on the corners of your garments, on all the clothing that you cover yourself with. So not something you hang on the wall, something you wear. We learn out from the verse Uri temoto, and you should see them. The verse of Uri temoto comes to teach you that only clothing that you wear during the day is obligated in tzitziot, but nighttime is not obligated in tzitzit. And so we can't use this verse of to see it to exclude a blind person, because we already used that verse to teach us something else. And so our rabbis say, when it says who's obligated in tzitzit, it doesn't go based on sight, it goes based on a person who has a body that can be covered. So long as a person has a body to be covered, even if he cannot see the tzitzit, he is still obligated in the mitzvah of tzitzit. So come back to page 309 with me. Can a blind person tie tzitzit onto our talit? Says in Halacha Hey, Hasuma rashai la'atir tzitzit b'beged talit. A blind person is allowed to tie tzitzit in the corner of the talit, afilu lechatchila, even on an ideal level, because he's obligated in tzitzit just like everyone else is obligated in tzitzit.
Can you see what he's doing?
That's already a practical question, but on a halachic level, he's obligated in tzitzit just like us. And the Aruch HaShulchan writes the same thing, so the consensus is that a blind person can, because he's obligated, he can also tie tzitzit on our clothing as well. Everyone should be healed, no, it should be no blindness, no, not just physical blindness, also spiritual blindness. Hashem should light up our eyes. B'ezrat Hashem. And I think we're going to stop here because the next halakha we'll need, it's a whole other topic. B'ezrat Hashem, we'll do that all tomorrow. Great.